thoughts for today are that Uber has been granted a permit to test drive self-driving cars in California after agreeing to pay a $150 registration fee to the DMV. Now, I love Uber's disregard for the status quo as much as anyone, but seriously, they've raised $1 bazillion, and to have this held up for a $150 registration fee sounds absolutely crazy to me. So surely you just pay that and move on. Anyway, Uber had moved the testing of their self-driving cars to Arizona after they were threatened with legal action in California when a couple of their SUVs failed to stop at red lights. So while they're back in California, looks like Uber will not be picking up passengers, although they do so in other locations such as Pittsburgh and Phoenix. But surely they're not far off picking up customers in San Francisco, which is the hotbed for testing of self-driving cars in the world. So given they're using Volvo XC90s to test their autonomous technology, it got me thinking about this whole self-driving ecosystem, how it's going to evolve, who's playing the game, and ultimately who's going to win, and how is this all going to stack together. So I took a look at exactly who is test driving self-driving cars in Silicon Valley. And as of yesterday, the Californian DMV had issued 26 permits to companies such as Volkswagen, Mercedes, Nissan, General Motors, BMW, Honda, Ford, Subaru, and Tesla. So they're the more mainstream, traditional manufacturers. Then they've issued further permits to Google, Bosch, Delphi, Zoox, Drive.ai, Faraday and Future, Baidu, Wego, Valeo, NextEV, Telenav, Nvidia, AutoX, Udacity, Navia, Renovo, Plus AI, and of course Uber. So that's 8 or 9 if you include Tesla, traditional manufacturers, and then 18 new entrants, Silicon Valley tech companies. So exactly how this plays out is still unclear, given the difficulties new entrants have had with actually manufacturing mass market vehicles. So Google recently closed its development plans to develop its own car, and has now teamed up with Fiat Chrysler. And even Tesla, the only Silicon Valley car company to ever really hit the mainstream, they only produce and sell around 60,000 cars per year. So they're hardly at the scale of the traditional manufacturers. But my best guess on how this plays out is that the major manufacturers will continue to produce cars. There'll possibly be a few casualties along the way, and we've already seen consolidation happen with the purchase of General Motors by Peugeot recently. But I think these new players will look to dominate the software, data, and hardware that will be attached to these cars produced by the traditional manufacturers. So I think that's the way we're going to make self-driving cars possible and mass market into the future. And this is really going to change the way we own and use vehicles. So the ownership structure is also ripe for disruption. So, you know, if we've got a huge fleet of Uber self-driving cars taking us to school, to work, out at night, do we even really need cars? Do we pay a subscription to Uber and get to use the cars whenever we need to? So this is all yet to play out, but I think the way it'll ultimately fall is that a few traditional manufacturers will still build the cars, and these new up to 18 new tech entrants will be supplying software, data layers, and hardware add-ons for the traditional cars. Anyway, that's the thought for today. Thanks for watching, and you can check out more on my blog and on YouTube channel. Cheers.